So evening yogis, lovely yin class, nice relaxing one for an evening. Begin lying down or seated, you choose. And we'll start to just breathe. I know it sounds very silly or simple to say let's just breathe because we're breathing all day, but to just bring the consciousness to the breath. I must admit, probably all day I haven't been conscious of my breath, which is a lovely thing to not have to do, but it's so lovely when we can just feel that inhale, the top of that inhale, and then the beginning of that exhale, and maybe that slight pause before the next breath, and just really enjoy following that for a few moments. It always brings you back to the present moment. You can't be anywhere else when you're following your breath. You're in your body, you're in this space and time. Because probably for most of the day you're either thinking ahead or reflecting back on something. There are moments when we're in our present moment, the now, but the mind does have that tendency to dart around. So just feeling your ribs expand and contract, the belly rise and fall. Noticing if you're tense in your shoulders, back of the neck. What energy are you holding around the head, the crown and third eye chakra? Throat and heart. Check in through the back of your body. And just observe also solar plexus and sacral. And then root energy at the pelvis and legs. Everywhere that you find just a tiny bit of tension, just see if you can allow your body to relax. Sometimes it's hard to stay relaxed, and before you know it, you've found that tension has come back. Continuing to just observe your breath. Relaxing fingertips, wrists. Relax your ears, eyebrows. And just release any facial expression. If you're lying down, we'll just take a few more moments here. So perhaps begin to just hug the knees in slowly. If you're already seated, just roll the shoulders, maybe just flex the spine gently, just so that you can get into a comfy position to sit for Zazen. And as those of you rolling on your back, just notice what you're feeling through your back of your body, the muscles. Take a couple more breaths. Nice sigh sometimes feels good. And then rolling up to seated. If you have some mala beads, we're going to do a meditation with a string of mala beads. So if you just need to pop off and get some, and if you haven't got any, then that's fine as well. The rest of us will be counting through the 108, and then at the end we'll just slowly open our eyes. So doing a string of mala beads is quite nice because it, there's a start and an end regardless of the amount of time. Usually it takes about 5 minutes, I would say. And it's nice to choose a word or a short mantra that is very personal to you. You can use So Hum, which is a lovely Vedic mantra, I am that I am. Or maybe you'd like to choose a word, peace or love. And we just gently breathe and we thumb through the mala beads, and just each time we go through a bead, we just repeat that little mantra. So I'll put the time on for about 5 minutes, just in case it does end up being that. And just relax your shoulders, get comfortable in a seated position. Just gently rest your hands in your lap with your beads. Close your eyes, relax your face, and we'll begin. So just thumb through with whatever word or short mantra you have chosen this evening. Stay relaxed and stay with your mantra. If the mind wanders, just come back to your mantra. Really connect to the word that you're repeating. Just staying in the moment. Very gently. You may have finished your mala beads or just still have a few to go. Gently coming back when you're ready. Everyone can kind of go through that at different speeds, so it's really different for everybody. Notice if your mind wandered off a few times, whether you maybe thumbed through a few beads without realizing, or whether you were quite conscious for the whole process. It will be different each time. That was probably about 8 minutes, I'd say. So just popping them aside, have them handy. It's so lovely just to, 8 minutes of your time when you're not on your mat, another time in the day when you just need some time out. You could just sit there, not necessarily with your eyes closed, but just thumb through them and think, right, I'm just taking a bit of me time. 8 to 10 minutes. So coming off cushions if you're already on them, and then we're going to come into oyster. So a nice seated pose, working into our hips. Just popping on the timer. We'll do about sort of up to 5 minutes each side. I'm starting with my right shin, my right leg to the front. And rather than actually tucking the feet under, try and bring the lower legs into a sort of a nice parallel kind of alignment. Having the legs pushed out like that, you're going to feel it a lot more around your hips. And then ever so gently, when you're ready, you can just allow the body to soften forward. If you do need some padding underneath the thighs, please do whatever you need just to get comfortable and release. And just softening ever so gently into this. The beauty of yin is that we can take our time to explore the pose. Try and relax your ankles and calf muscles. And then your thighs around the hips and pelvis. And then gently, as we sort of find this shape, we can soften into the upper body and shoulders. Relax the head. Relax your face. And just breathing deeply to the belly. Tuning into whatever you're feeling. Relaxing your wrists and hands. How does it feel in your hips? Sometimes you might find that this stretch it's just exactly what you need. It doesn't have to be a deep stretch, but you can really feel some relief and a lovely stretch around the outer thighs, hips, perhaps the buttocks. Keep relaxing any muscles in the legs that you notice that tense. And we'll just take a lovely breath here. And gently in our own time, just lift up slowly. Even as you come out of the pose, just enjoy the sensations that you're feeling around the outer legs, the release through the back. Let's come into neutral and let whatever we feel, and allow that sensation to just drift away. How do you feel and what do you feel? Is there coolness on the outside of your legs? Can you feel any tingling down your legs, down to your feet, around your ankles? Perhaps there's a nice coolness that you feel across the belly. Just tuning into whatever you're feeling. Everyone will be different. Noticing that chi movement. And just enjoying some lovely deep belly breaths. These precious moments when we can just be with ourselves and feel physically, feel emotionally. Notice the mind becoming a lot quieter. Perhaps you notice how connected spiritually you are to yourself. So when you're ready, let's just draw our knees in, right one, then left one. Take a little moment to roll. Enjoy a nice massage. Just paying attention and giving a little bit of love to our back. And then when you're ready, let's just swing up to seated, coming into the other side. So bringing that left shin now to the front, right leg just tucked behind. keeping them sort of pushed out, nice and sort of fairly parallel. And a very, very similar sensation probably, but you might notice some differences. You might notice how it feels differently in your knees to just have the legs crossed ever so slightly differently this time. But let's just soften. If your shoulders are pulled back, just allow everything to round and melt a little bit towards the mat. Taking the breath to the belly and the chest, relaxing buttocks, backs of the knees, inner thighs. And just loosen any muscles in the face. Notice how long you can follow your breath here without the mind darting off onto another thought. And just enjoy being in your body. It's the only one we've got. Our only vehicle for this lifetime. It's nice to have some loving and kind thoughts towards ourselves. Keep relaxing. Just being very aware of what you're feeling through the buttocks and hips, lower back. Notice any emotions that you're having here. If anything feels pent up or feels releasing. Hips are very linked with held and stuck emotions sometimes, so this pose particularly can encourage us to release consciously and unconsciously. Keep letting go of tension. And we'll take one lovely breath. Gently lifting up. Again, just enjoying how we lift the body and come back into neutral. Nice and slowly. There's no rush. It's just so nice to just slow down a bit at the end of the day. Life can be far too busy. Enjoy how you roll your spine down to the mat and then you release the arms and the legs and feet relax. Just notice how the spine feels, whether it takes a moment sort of to click back into place or it just feels easy. And with your eyes closed, just enjoy some deep breaths. Focus on your subtle body energy. Just aware of any cool, heat, tingling. Enjoying this very moment. And we'll come in for a hug, drawing the knees in. We're going to come into swan next. So again, a pose that is working with our hips, deep stretch through the legs and buttocks. Use as much padding as you want to here. I always like to use a pillow under the buttock. I'm going to draw the right knee forwards. And the right foot just sort of lands gently in front of the left leg. And then bringing some support under the right buttock. Let's just come into swan, starting upright. It's quite nice to start upright. Get a lovely little curve into the lumbar spine here. Little stretch through the hands and wrists. And just notice how it feels through the whole spine, what you're feeling through the neck, upper thoracic, all the way down. So trying to relax buttocks, thighs, observing what deep stretch you're feeling. And then when you want to, in your own time, we can just come onto elbows. If you have a block you want to rest your forehead on, please do. Whatever feels restful this evening. Deep inhale, lovely sigh. And starting to soften. As you just look around the body in this pose, start to relax everything that you can gradually. Just become aware of whether your lower abdomen feels tight when you breathe, or whether you can really allow the belly to soften on the breath. Relaxing head and neck where you can. If at any time you need to come out of this pose because it's just too challenging or painful, please do. You can exit any time you want to. How does this pose make you feel tonight? Where do you feel it physically? Where do you feel it emotionally and mentally?
Do you like this pose, or is it aggravating you? Did it start difficult, but now it's somehow getting more tolerable? Is it a pose that you wouldn't normally go for, but actually you do feel your body really needs it? This works with all the leg meridians, liver and kidneys, gallbladder, spleen and stomach. Relax your hands and wrists. And we'll take one deep breath here and gently come out.
Take your time. It always takes me a little while to soften into that pose, and then as soon as I do, the time can fly. So just relaxing back, noticing what you're feeling. Perhaps you can feel quite a deep stretch, maybe over the top of your right foot, where it's been flat to the mat. Maybe the sole of your foot is tingly. The inside of the right leg. Just following whatever sensations you're feeling personally. And observing the real difference between left and right. Perhaps curious as to how the other side will feel, whether it will be easy to settle into it or a bit more challenging to soften. Just open to whatever we're going to experience in a moment. So as that sensation fades, maybe you can still feel it a little bit. Let's bring the knees in, nice little rock again. Deep breath. And gently in your own time and in your own way, let's come into the other side. Take your time to move slowly. There's no rush. It's lovely to just sort of position ourselves and be mindful of how we're moving even into the poses. Drawing the left knee forwards and the right leg back, using as many props as you want to. Again, I'm going to have that cushion under the buttocks. And starting upright. You might immediately feel a different sensation through perhaps your thighs or hips. Notice what you feel through the whole spine, through the neck, in this position. Starting to relax buttocks. Just aware of your breath. And then when you want to, coming down. If you want to come all the way down to the mat and bring the forehead down and stretch the arms out, you can. I'm just going to stay here because it feels more restful to have the chest open a little. Where do you feel perhaps the most tight, tense?
And again, just trying to release any tension in the abdominal muscles as we breathe. And as we sit with this pose, we can almost feel the muscles gradually stretching in such a lovely passive way. Nice deep breaths. And as you breathe, you can feel the back of your body moving. Keep checking in with the front of your body and whether that becomes tense and tight. If you could talk to your hips, what would they maybe say back to you? Maybe they'll say, ask you to allow more joy into your life. Have more fun. Move them and dance and be carefree. How does your body talk to you? Can you start to feel the surrender into this pose? Sometimes it's right towards the end of the 5 minutes that we really get comfortable. So we're just going to take one more breath. The full 5 minutes in both of those sides. And personally, I would say probably it's the last minute of that pose that really felt like I'd given in and surrendered to it. Notice if that feels very sort of similar for you. It takes 2 or 3 minutes just to really let go. So lying down, let's just feel whatever you feel. Is it the same after effect as the right side, or are you noticing something really subtly different here? Does one side feel a bit more relieved than the other in some strange way? Quite often we can become a lot tighter through one side than the other. If your eyes are closed, just again notice any images, colours, inspiration that just drops into the mind. This quiet stillness is the time when we will receive. So when you're ready, let's draw the knees in. Usually I'll do these last two poses in a certain way, but I'm actually going to reverse them. We're going to come into bench, which is a really lovely restful pose over a cushion. And then after that, we'll come into seal. So we're taking the spine in two different directions, but just swapping them round from what I would perhaps normally do. With the swan pose, we've had a little bit of an arch through the back. So we're just going to come back over a cushion, taking it just a little bit further away from the body, having a nice sort of stretch through the upper part. If you need a little block under your head, I'm actually going to take a block under the head tonight because my upper back's been playing up a little bit. Whatever you need, and every day will be different depending on how you're feeling. So nice little stretch through this upper chest, shoulders. If you've got the space to take your arms out, you can. And enjoy some lovely deep breaths. You can feel your belly rise and fall in the chest. So checking in with heart center and throat chakra here, Anahata and Vishuddhi. Tuning into perhaps a green and pink, or possibly a pure white colour at the heart. And at the throat, pale blue or a royal blue. What comes to mind? Try and relax your buttocks and legs here. And enjoy just feeling the breath come in and leave the body. How does this pose make you feel? Targeting the heart center and opening it in this way often encourages us to perhaps feel more loving, kind to others and certainly ourselves. We'll take one more breath. And very gradually, just lifting up from this pose, pull the cushion out and any other props you've used, we'll come back down and just enjoy. Very nourishing pose for your spine, I feel. Nice deep breaths. Be in your body. And then we'll take the knees in and come into the last pose just for a few minutes, not too long, but I'd like to do seal. And this evening I'm going to use a cushion under my chest. And if you want to block for the forehead, then you can as well. So let's just come into this for just a few minutes. A nice gentle back bend here into the lumbar spine. And if you need to slide your arms out a little bit further to the side just to lower this curve in the lumbar, please do. A few deep breaths. Let's just settle. And just noticing whatever you're feeling in that lower part of your spine and lower back. Whether it's tender, whether you can relax the buttocks and back. And being very aware of the breath coming down to the belly. Stay with the breath. And gently, when you're ready, just lifting the head, and we'll come into neutral pose. That was just a few minutes coming into taking the spine into that particular direction. And then relaxing down to your mat. So with bench, we are coming into a lot more of the thoracic, the upper part of the back. And then with seal, definitely more of a curve into the lumbar lower part. Nice deep breaths, just aware of whatever you're feeling. And when you're ready, let's hug the knees in. coming into relaxation now. So drawing over a blanket, popping on warm clothes, and either seated or lying down, whatever your body chooses this evening. Beginning to relax from head to toe, relaxing the forehead, eyes, nose, cheeks, mouth, the chin and jaw, the back of the neck all around the throat, your shoulders and arms all the way to your hands. And softening the front of your body, the sides of your body and the back of your body. Relaxing the pelvis, hips, and your legs, knees, ankles and feet. With every out breath, you relax just that little bit more. And perhaps in your mind you can take a moonlit walk. Walking along a shoreline, somewhere that you know well. And there's not many lights. Perhaps there's a full moon and it casts a lovely silver line across the water, lighting up the ripples and the waves. And where you're walking is quiet and peaceful. A clear night, all the stars are out. Looking for your favourite constellations or the ones you know. And maybe you can just find somewhere to sit, either on a bench or on the beach by the water's edge. And you may not be able to see much, but you can hear. You can hear the waves just lapping on the shore. Perhaps you close your eyes. And this is almost meditative, the sound. Just allow yourself some quiet time.
Just bringing your awareness back now. There's no need to move, but just become conscious of your breath now. Just following the next few inhales and exhales fully. And really feeling present in the now. And how wonderful that feels. How peaceful and calm the present always is. So beginning now just to wiggle fingers and toes, bringing some gentle movement back, moving slowly just so that you can move through the rest of your evening nice and peacefully and passive and calm. Taking this energy into a good, deep and healing night's sleep. Set the intention that you will sleep well and restoratively. Waking in the morning vibrant and really healed and rested. So just hugging these in. If you're lying down or if you're seated, you can just gently move. Whatever feels good and comfortable. Taking these moments just to check in with yourself and your body. And then coming to seated when you're ready. Have a moment just to still yourself and ground. Send the roots down from the tailbone. And then hands to heart. Om Shanti. Namaste.